Join our incredible moms who have mastered the art of balancing motherhood in today's episode of We Time Convo.
My name is Debbie.
This is Liza.
Moms sharing inspiring stories, practical tips, and a few hilarious anecdotes. And it all begins now.
Thank you for listening to We Time Convo. Unfortunately, Debbie was unable to join us today. She had a prior engagement, so we miss you, Debbie, and we'll catch you next time. Today, I actually have two guests with me, and they are two dads. So I thought it would be neat to do an episode about stay-at-home dads. We have one stay-at-home dad who is a full-time stay-at-home dad, and then we have one that is a stay-at-home dad, but he also works from home as well. So I have Javi here. Say hi, Javi.
Hello.
And then I have Frank.
Hey, what's up?
So, Frank, tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and what you do and your kids.
Sure. Okay, my name is Frank, last name Castillo. Let's see, where do I start? I have two kids. I'm a father. I have two daughters. One is 1 year old and the other's 5. My first one, who is 5, her name is Franklin. So named after, not actually me, but my dad. My dad, his name is Franklin, but we put her as Franklin, Lynn, instead of Lin. And her middle name is Ella. That's after my parents' name because both of my parents passed away back in 2014. So obviously they never got to meet my daughter, so they never got to meet their grandkids. And then my second one is Jessalyn Lyon. And that's named after my baby mama, Jessica. So we both have our juniors, and she's the one I'm watching from home while working from home. And I'm 42 years old, so we had Franklin at 38 and Jessa at 40.
Frank also is an alumni of Independence High School, class of 99, represent.
Yep, that's all of us here. And SJSU, I graduated in I forgot now, 08. Oh my gosh. That's actually late. I was hanging around at Evergreen College for a while. I got too cool over there. It was like feeling like high school there. I was like in junior college for like 4 years when it's supposed to be like a 2-year thing. But I had a great time.
There's nothing wrong with that. So,
yeah. But yeah, but that was like the thing where you follow the roadmap where it's 2 years and then you transfer to university. But, whatever, things happen, life happens. So, yeah, it took my time and then just got it done.
So,
yeah.
Franklin goes to school.
Yeah, she just started kindergarten this year.
Nice. And
yeah.
how is she liking kindergarten?
The first few days, I think like any child to be, kind of nervous and scared. So I think the first couple of days she was crying when we would drop her off and leave. But over time, just a couple of weeks, she's fine. She's been in preschool since she was 2. She started really early because Jessica works for a community center in Palo Alto, a JCC, a Jewish community center. We're not Jewish, by the way, but she works there. So we have the opportunity to enroll our kids in their preschool programs. So which is good, which I'm looking forward to actually because Jessa's going to be going there starting in November. So that'll be like, another a relief for me because now that's like one less thing I have to worry about now, but I've been doing it for a while. So
Jessa stays home with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I do drop off Franklin also in the morning. So and we walk because it's not like this. It's close, but it's not really close. I guess people think what close is. It's like literally across the street. We're taking about a 15-minute walk. It's like how everybody has like a step counter on their phone. It's all like I looked at it. I'm like, oh shoot, we're walking like 5,000 steps one way.
You make Jessa walk that much?
No, I have Jessa in a carrier,
Oh.
and I hold Franklin, and we just walk together.
Nice.
Because for me, I'm just like a gym guy, right? Our kids need to walk. They need to move. Like there's too many obese kids, too many obese people. So that's just me. That's just like I want my kids to like not even think about it. Like we hardly see any people walking. It's always like dropping off their kids, which I get. I mean, people got to go to work and blah blah blah. But if you have the opportunity to, I'm going outside, taking in some sun and walking with my kids, talking with them, and just enjoying the sights while we go to school.
Good for you, Frank. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
So,
us Americans.
yeah.
That's why we're we just drive, right?
Yeah.
So Javi, how about you? Tell us a little bit more about yourself and your family.
Sure. So my name is Javier Garza. Originally, I'm from Texas.
And I have one son. He is 14 years old, just barely started high school.
Yeah, and so I know Javi from our kids actually went to the same charter school that Debbie's kids went to, Irene's kids went to, and
Right.
I've known Nico since he was in kindergarten.
Kindergarten,
And,
that's right.
Violet's Ava's a year older, and we
Yeah.
kind of just, Javi was a stay-at-home dad that was always at pickup, and we'd start chit-chatting, and then he
Right.
became a part of our group, and now
Yep.
he's like one of the moms. Like we do a lot of cheese made together. Yeah, we cheese made together.
Right.
We still,
That's right.
yeah.
Yep.
Even though our kids don't go to the same high school, we still
Yeah.
get together often, and Nico's still even though it's an awkward age with our kids.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The preteens.
Yeah, they
Preteens.
still hang out, awkwardly hang out.
Crazy.
We'll sit next to each other on the
You
road.
transcend both though. You got the preteen, you got the older, and then you got the younger.
I got one
Right.
every
So we can
generation.
relate
right.
on you can relate on every level.
Every level. That's crazy.
Yeah, so the one thing I guess I wanted to talk to you guys about is this, this stigma against stay-at-home parents, right? So
Right.
a lot of people think, oh, they stay home, like they don't.
Do nothing.
How hard is
Right.
that, right?
Right.
Like they're not
Yeah.
they're not clocking in, they're not clocking out, like.
Right.
And it's actually a 24/7 job,
Right.
like.
That's very true.
Right, from the moment you open your eyes, from the moment you close your eyes, you're always going to be a dad,
Right.
right? So what do you think
Absolutely.
about that, Javi?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. There's always been a stigma even now, and I think it's just not that it's unfair. It's just like I guess people just don't really know or they can't relate because maybe they're not parents. But yeah, no, it's absolutely true. Like it's a full-time job and I mean I've basically of course with the help of my wife raised our son together, but me being the one that stays at home with my son, it was like 24/7 since he was like a newborn, and so it's totally unless you experienced it, then you'd know.
Yeah, and I know that from just being on maternity leave. It's not a vacation,
It's
like
not.
right, Frank? Like, what do you
Yeah.
think about that?
No, exactly. I'm like, yo, how do women even do this? Like 2 jobs. If I'm working my job,
Right,
I'm
because you work,
yeah.
you work as well.
So every time I tell people like what I'm doing right now, they're like, dude, how are you doing this? I'm like, I don't even know how I'm doing this. I'm just doing it. Like we have to. It's like one of those things where I have to do it. Like obviously we looked into like daycares and stuff like that, but it's way too expensive. And we did that before with Franklin, where I actually I had an aunt that watched her, but I paid her anyways. But even though she refused, I'm like, no, this is hard work. Like you're watching my kid. But then there was a time where she couldn't do it anymore, and then we actually paid a nanny for Franklin, and oh man, that took deep out of my pockets. Like I can't even like hang out. This is like no hangout money. You're just like food and daycare and then rent. That was it. Like fortunately, I have a job that I get to work from home, and they were they're very understanding of my situation. They're like, that's fine. Just you could watch your kids. So they're like super flexible with me while I work, just as long as I get my work done. And I just gotta like balance it out. It's like a constant juggle every day. Because like some days it's like it's more chill than others, but no, it's like every day. Like I have to have a set routine. It's like you have to have discipline first of all, because I've been working from home since 2013. So everybody like that knows me since they've been working from home that long, they're like, oh man, you got it easy. You just work from home. You can chill in your pajamas or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But you got to have that extra discipline to actually work from home. You can't just be like at home and like goofing off. Your work will know if you're goofing off or not. You produce results for them or you don't. They're like, what are you doing? You're just hanging out. Like, no, you got to work. So I already had that discipline, and then on top of that, I had to add my child. And now it's like I gotta have a set schedule. Like I know what time she has. Like you gotta change her diaper in between like meetings or like emails, and it's like it's constant juggle. And then I gotta pick up Franklin from school. So I don't know how I do it, but I think just being having structure, and me knowing myself, I'm a pretty like structured person. I follow like a certain order, so kind of sort of like borderline OCD, I guess you can say, just so that you get things done daily, like that, like what you have to do to make it through the day. Yeah.
So one thing that I think about a lot with stay-at-home parents is, so one parent's at home with the kids obviously, and the other parent is out working. How do you balance? Obviously, parent comes home, the other parent is tired,
right,
and then you're tired because you've been with the
Yeah.
baby, you're with a child all day. So when Jessica or when Nestle come home, do you do a switch off, or do you, well, Nico's older, but
Yeah.
back then, do you just take Nico, I'm going to go rest? Or does it, like, how do you guys balance that out? Like when Jessica comes home from work, or when Nestle comes home from work and they're obviously tired, how is there a switch off that's happening?
There was never a switch off. I mean, as soon as Nestle would get home, I would just keep into my role, because I guess internalized maybe guilt or something that, here she comes from like a very long shift, and then how could I possibly justify just like handing off like a baby that's both our son, So it's always like, please just stay there, just have like relax. I'll give you some food. I made some food. I got everything covered for you, so just relax. I'm still taking care of Nico, and he's here. If you want to, whatever you want to do with our son, you're obviously more than welcome to. But for now, just don't worry about it. Just, I'll take care of you. And
because I see a lot of parents, just from knowing other parents that come home and they're like, I'm tired. And, I'm like, it's a big argument, right? Because they're like, what have you been doing all day?
Right.
Like, I'm taking care of your kid. Like,
Right.
So things like that.
Yeah.
Like, Frank, how do you and Jessica balance
Jessica
that?
understands because she's been working with kids forever. Like she's 20 plus years in the industry of childcare. So she gets it, like what I'm doing, and then she appreciates it. And then when she loves our kids, so she's looking forward to coming home and being with the kids anyways. So it's easier for me. It's not like, she's tired, but she loves our kids so much. She's like, she can't wait to get home. If it was up to her, she'd like just stay home all day. But we got to work. We got to pay the rent. We got to pay bills. And for me, like I said, like earlier on, like gym and fitness is one of my other top priorities, and I make it a point to go every time after she gets home. So it's almost like clockwork. She gets home, I'm already set for the gym. And in regards to like food or dinner and stuff, I either I try to cook at least 4 to 5 days a week. I do groceries like once a week, or depending on like what we need for the kids or for us, what we want to eat. But I prepare kind of the same things all the time because you just know what to do, and it's like clockwork. And it works. Like she goes to work all day. I handle the kids. I do my own work. She comes home. I go to the gym because for me, it's like that gets me going to the next day. Like they're like, dude, how are you not tired? I'm like, I'm tired, but I push through it. And actually, me going to the gym, I'm actually pretty energized. Like people are like a lot of people like they don't get it. Like I guess it's just one of those things where people that know that go to the gym often, it actually energizes you as opposed to making you feel more tired, even if you had a long day at work. Because I've been doing it for years too, and I know how that is. I used to work a regular office job. I used to commute back in the days before I was working from home. I would still go to the gym after work, after like an 8-9 hour shift. Like you actually feel more energized, and I think that's been helping me because I know we're older parents with younger kids. So I want to be that parent. I don't want to be that older parent that's just kind of like, they can't even like hang with their younger kids because they're tired all the time. But for me, that's like that helps me every day. That's like my thing that gets me through the day as well. So it's just like a daily habit. It's like you got to build these habits so that you can do the things every day at a high level, and that you're doing your best to take care of your kids every single day.
So Javi, you've been a stay-at-home dad for 14 years.
Right. Yeah.
Do you what do you Nico obviously doesn't need you as much anymore, but
right.
What do you miss about being a stay-at-home dad? Just him needing you more? And
yeah. I mean, I always kind of just have that like memories, like just all the time about him when he was just so little, and it was just such a fun age when he was like a toddler, and just running around behind him all the time, or just cleaning up after him, or feeding him, or like his age at that time. But now that he's basically he's a teenager and he's in high school, and he does need me much less. But it's nice to know that he still does need me for a lot of stuff, which is really cool because I kind of do live for that. But yeah, it's definitely like one of those things that you notice the change, and it's like, oh man, it's pretty crazy.
Time goes by so fast.
It's so fast.
A couple more years, he's a grown man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like 4 years away from being 18. It's like, wow, I can't even imagine that. It's crazy.
I mean, you devoted so much of your life to Nico.
Right.
Is there like, so what, are you starting to do more things for yourself now, or just, you know, do you have any hobbies or things that like, because you have a little more time, right?
Right.
So I mean, are you starting, do you think about like, well, what's next for me? Like Nico's gonna go to college, and like when am I, you know, and Nessie obviously is still working, so,
right. Yeah. I don't really have very many hobbies, to be honest. I just like, I kind of live for my family, and that's kind of what makes me happy. But I guess just maybe going out to take a hike in the nature, that's kind of my thing. I kind of do like to do that.
Oh yeah, you go camping like by yourself and
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, I kind of do that. Yeah, by myself.
What
yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know. I feel like it's like kind of therapeutic for me.
No, okay.
Whatever,
whatever, you know, keeps it going, man, or whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, that's kind of my thing, you could say. But I have a little more time, I guess, to do that, and I'm kind of looking forward to doing that again as soon as possible. But yeah.
You still have to be a house husband.
Right. Yeah, I guess I make more food that we all kind of like, I guess.
Yeah.
And so
hey, man, we cook.
Yeah. Men that cook.
That
so
cook.
I mean, I want to give her as you know, little work as possible, because I know she works very hard. You know, she's a nurse. She's very hardworking, always has been, and so as little as possible as I can give her to do is my goal, you know, because I want her to just be like, just come home and just relax and know that she'll be taken care of.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, I live for my family. That's what makes me happy, and
that's great. Yeah. And you and Nico are so close. And
so close.
Yeah, I love watching your guys. Like I've known you guys forever, so I love watching you know, your relationship evolve, and now you guys are like, you know, bros. It's crazy. He's so
it's
tall
pretty much
now.
he's so tall. He's like,
man.
I don't know, maybe like an inch or two from like
Is he
being taller than me. He's like
he's
almost there. It's incredible. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like, since he
Well,
was,
I
like,
know
a
my
teenager.
daughters are gonna all tower over me soon.
Well, yeah, Jessica towers over you.
I was like, so I'm gonna have like 3 women over me, and like, hey, dad. So yeah.
So I'm gonna throw some knowledge at you guys, because you know me and my stats. So I looked up recent stats at, you know, stay-at-home dads. So there was a recent study that the Pew Research Center did, and between 1989 and 2021, the share of mothers who were not employed for pay decreased slightly from 28% to 26%. Over the same span, the share of fathers who were not working increased from 4% to 7%, which means almost 1 in 5 stay-at-home parents in the U.S. are dads.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought it would be a bigger.
The source is
like,
Pew
wider gap.
Research Center. Due to these diverging trends, dads now represent 18% of stay-at-home parents, up from 11% from 1989.
Wow.
So yeah, dads
That's
are
good to know. Wow.
We growing out here.
Yeah.
yeah. So I guess my next question is, Frank, what is your favorite and your least favorite part of being a stay-at-home working dad?
Well, because I focus a lot on work, it's hard to focus and watching a 1-year-old, so I have to like constantly look after Jessa too. But fortunately, like my job where I was doing more sales, so I had to do more. I had to be on calls a lot more back then. But you know, like I said, my job was very understanding, and I had they had me switch role where I didn't have to do that as much. I still do make calls here and there once in a while, but then when I do that, I have to like schedule out her naps. So I try to work more when she's napping. I either do calls or I have to sprint while working. But yeah, like I guess it's more like the diaper changing is it's always like, you know, thing, or it's like, oh man, I gotta change this diaper.
How many diapers a day do you think you change?
I think I average like around 5 to 6 a day. Maybe like 4 poopy ones and 3 pee-pee ones.
Nice.
But it yeah, sometimes it like, because you know how you get into a groove of something, like if you're at work, right, you're like in the zone, right, and then you're like, oh shoot, my baby's crying, she either, you know, needs something, like she either, you know, soiled her diaper or she needs something, and but I want to be attentive to her right away, because you want her to stop crying right away. So you get sidetracked from that, you got to focus on your baby at that moment where you either got to change her or feed her, and then you go back to work. So it's a constant, you turn on, turn off. And I did get used to it, but where you it's like breaking your focus on a certain thing is kind of like what kind of irks me a little bit. It's like, where did I leave off? And I gotta start all over. But that's part of it, and I got used to it.
From the time Jessa wakes up, what is your setup so that you can work efficiently and then also
okay? So Jessica does a lot actually before because she goes to work earlier in the day. I mean, in the morning. So our new schedule since Franklin started, she wakes up I think around 6 or 6:30. She gets she gets ready, and then the kids are still sleeping, and then she'll get Jessa ready. She'll change her diaper or whatever, and then get her ready in her clothes that she's wearing for the day. And then I get up and I get ready, and then we wake up Franklin, and then we get her ready. Sometimes be like, yeah, just put on the clothes you're gonna wear tomorrow, so we don't have to worry about the morning. Their morning grouchiness sometimes where they want to get up. So we deal with that too, obviously. But, if she has her clothes on that she's going to wear for that day, that this makes it easier. And then, she does a lot there. And she, she's the one that wakes up in the middle of the night if Jessa is crying and she needs milk. And if Franklin, needs to go use the restroom. So she lets me sleep, I guess, and I appreciate that. I know it's tough, and I probably could help out there a little more, but I mean,
I can see Jessica right now going,
rolling her eyes. No, but like I said, I think our teamwork works. Like I said, and then I basically have them the rest of the day.
So is Jessa? Yeah. Is she just like kind of in front of you, like in a playpen?
Yeah, I have a playpen, okay. And then sometimes if she gets fidgety in there, I'll bring her out and make sure everything is locked where she can't get into certain things. But she's getting older now, so like in the beginning when she was just like a baby, like maybe 3-4 months, it was easy. Yeah, just sleep there and like feed her milk, right? But as the time progresses, you're like, oh man, she's like climbing, she's walking, she's getting into things. So that's where it gets annoying too, where it's like, oh man, she got into that and I thought I locked it up and she still got it, and she's like very persistent. So yeah, it's just that, like that constant watching behind your back while you're working, because my computer is like towards here. It's not like where I could see her in front of me. It's like more, I got to turn back and make sure she's safe. Yeah, or like my number one rule is like make sure she doesn't die.
Yeah. Or put her finger in a light socket or something.
Exactly. So I have that all covered. We have like the little foamy things on all the edges, and then light sockets are all covered. And yeah, everything else like is just mostly like the couch and cushiony pillows. Like if she like falls or whatever, it's fine, and she gets to play. And we have a bunch of toys too, like just have her make sure they're not like super tiny toys so she can eat them or swallow them. So yeah.
Jess is a pretty good baby, so it's not like
at least we got lucky with that.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, everybody that holds her or interacts with her, you're like, she's like the calmest baby ever.
She's like the community baby at the parties.
Yeah,
like we never know. Like we never know who has her. We just pass her around.
Yeah, and she's fine and she's chill.
She's really chill. Yeah, she's really cute.
So I'm very fortunate with that too. And Franklin was the same too. So I think I know everybody has their different, their babies react differently, but we've been really lucky, and I attribute that a lot to Jessica. She, like I said, she's been working with kids like forever since I think even in her teens maybe she started working at daycares. So she always wanted to be a mom, right? And that was like her thing, and that's like she's like, I call her like the kid whisperer. Like she could calm down any kid too. It's not just like our kids, but our kids are like very like they're like Franklin's like pretty advanced, and I think she's well spoken for her age, and that's because of Jessica. I mean, we have different parenting styles. I'm more of like the strict, like straight to the point, and she's more like I'll talk you down and like have them understand, and I see that, and that's her skill, and then mine is like take care of things and get things done, and I think that's kind of like the teamwork that it works.
Nice. So have you ever been in a Zoom meeting and you were interrupted, or you had
so those meetings I tell you, like I try to
know that you also take care of Jessa as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. That's what I mean. Like they know, and like and then they know that I have to like pick up Franklin every day too. So like we're in our Slack channels. That's like the the thing we use to communicate with the teams in our company. And I'll be like, yeah, stepping out, gotta go to a doctor's appointment for the kids, or stepping out, gotta go pick up Franklin. And that's all. I've been with the companies for over 5-6 years. I mean, they know I have good rapport with them. They know how I work, and so the trust is there, so that's why, I was just fortunate to be in this situation, even with kids, where they allow me to be that flexible.
Nice. You're really lucky, because
yeah,
I think a lot of companies,
like, even if you had a job here, it's
yeah.
like, it's impossible, like, and I don't have to commute, right? I'm just at home, and I don't drive much, so yeah, you just got to take advantage of it.
So Javi, you guys moved here when Nico was 4 or 5?
Actually, when he was about 2.
Oh, 2.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So, and then he stayed with you while Nestle
Right.
worked when you guys moved to the Bay Area?
Right. Yeah. So like I said before, we're originally from Texas, and so we moved out here back in 2011, and so moving here basically meant that we have like zero family here in the Bay. We really had to just rely on ourselves, and that was the main reason why I was a stay-at-home father, because I mean, somebody had to watch Nico. And going back to something that Frank said, like looking into like daycare centers and everything is just so expensive, and it made zero sense to have to work only to pay for that, when I could be the one, gladly to take care of my own kids. So
well, and it's hard to trust.
Exactly.
That too.
Yeah. That's a huge
but it's
thing
crazy.
too.
Like the
Yeah.
expense is like, what? Like,
Yeah,
is that what you're literally working for? Is that in rent? It's like,
it's crazy.
Might as well not work.
Right? Because I mean, I think kids alone are like, it's expensive, like thinking about like diapers and like formula and everything else,
Right.
and then on top of that, you got to think about like the expense of a daycare, and it's incredible how much they charge. And I can only imagine, like, now, this was back in like 2011, and now I with everything going up, it's not even feasible
What is it,
anymore.
like 2 to 3K or something?
Must be something.
Yeah.
Like it's outrageous. And
When
so
Ava was in daycare when she was 5, it was like $300 a week.
wow.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I was
like what
paying
back then.
with
That's
Franklin's
crazy.
nanny, and this was like, already 4 years ago. I was like Venmoing like $400 a week to our nanny.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And that was like a good price because she liked us, I guess.
Oh wow.
I don't know, but yeah, it's just still, it's a lot.
It's just
I was like,
hard.
that's groceries, man.
Yeah, so it only made sense for our family, to do that, because anything that I would have done is nothing to luckily what my wife was able to provide. So I mean, it only just made sense, and we both kind of agreed, and so it just worked out for us that way.
That's good.
So yeah.
Nice. So I think back then I think there were more stay-at-home moms, and at pickup, when you pick up Nico from school, is it weird just being around like all moms?
No, not really.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
how we became friends, right?
Right,
Like
yeah,
we just
yeah.
kind of like chatted, and then Dara
Yeah.
came in the mix, and
Right.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, not nothing weird at all. I know it's funny because, like, being Mexican, and I think in our culture it's kind of like that whole thing, the stigma, the macho thing, where like, oh, you're the one that stays home, like, oh, but it's like, I don't know. I was fortunate enough that in my family, being originally from Mexico, like, we don't really have that, It's not really like a thing. It's just like, well, it's just life, It's just what
You're
you do.
like, get with the times.
Yeah, get with the times, right? So it's like I was lucky enough to grow up in that way. So it wasn't awkward for me at all. So
Yeah. How are you and Nestle's like parenting styles? I could already tell that you're very nurturing, and you love, like, even with my kids, like with Violet, like,
yeah.
you're just a very nurturing and loving
Thank you.
father.
Thank
And
you.
is Nestle more of like the disciplinarian? Like,
Yeah.
is Nico more scared of Nestle
Oh
than
yeah,
you?
I'm scared
I'm
of her.
scared of her too. I'm like, I want to mess with Nestle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's definitely true. I think I mean, we're both very nurturing and very loving. She will bend over backwards for Nico, for our son. She does everything for him. But yeah, definitely I would say that she's the more strict parent. And he knows. He gets a look, and he knows. He's pretty much got me wrapped around his finger.
yeah.
So, I mean, he's my little bro. You know.
Yeah.
I think it just it goes back to probably how I was raised too.
Yeah.
Like my mom. I'm such a mama's boy, and like 10 times what you imagine I'd be nurturing. She's like, you know, she's everything. So I think I got it from her.
I don't know about you guys, but these cookies, Frank cookies,
those
are
Franks?
really good.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, those
By
are
the way,
the
Yeah.
best.
So I told Frank he could shamelessly promote his cookies on here.
Yeah, guys. So actually, yeah, it's Frank Cookies. That's at Instagram at FrankOOKEEZ. I make home baked cookies made from scratch. As Liza knows, I mean, I've been baking cookies for over 10 years. I used to just bring them over for the family parties, right? And everybody's like, what are these? And then people started eating them like crazy and hoarding them and trying to hide them and making secret stashes. And
Guilty.
yeah, it came around during the pandemic where, you know, when everybody like that made food, they're like selling food on Instagram, like, oh, I could do this. Like and so yeah, started a little side hustle with my cookies and had, you know, my friend Sean make the logo, which is after my daughter, Franklin. So
You got to put Jessa's face on there now.
I know. It's now it's like, oh, Jessica's gonna grow up and be like, where's my thing?
You got to come up with another thing now. You gotta
Yeah,
make
I know,
something else.
right?
Your blueberry.
But then I'm trying to get Franklin to learn how to make cookies. I don't want to push her to do it, like if it's something she wants to do, but you know, she's the face of the the company.
Yeah.
So it's
She's
like
Aunt
eventually,
Jemima.
yeah.
By the way, we're not affiliated with Aunt
Yeah,
Jemima.
not affiliated. I mean, I have
She
some.
doesn't sponsor us.
Yeah, so go check them out. You know, if you're into like just cookies. I mean, the best compliment I ever get with my cookies is like, man, I'm not even into cookies, but I love your cookies. I was like, who?
That should be your motto.
Yeah, I was like, well, first of all, I'm like, who doesn't like cookies? Like a good chocolate chip cookie, everybody
They're
loves,
really
right?
good. Yeah.
I was like, how are you not liking cookies? But then, yeah, that like I get that. I actually got that more than once. So I'm like, wow, this is like I'm onto something, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, thanks.
You guys are into cookies or don't like cookies but want to be into cookies?
Yeah,
Hit
enjoy.
up Frank. Yeah. Yeah.
So like I was saying, like I'm very, I think I push myself. I mean, I always make the time for something if I'm really into the gym, my cookies. I'm always like, I never flake on on an order. Like every party I go to or attend, I'm providing cookies, and I don't know, it makes me happy. Like you know, you see a smile on their face or on a person's face, a perfect stranger. There's like, who made these cookies? Like, I made those cookies. So it makes you feel good. And like you said, like see how my cookies are made. You can tell like how I make them. I'm very like, anything you do, it's like it reflects everything else you do in life. So it's kind of like, I feel like how I make these cookies, like I kind of like structure my life like that, or it's like always thing. But sometimes like, you know, you just gotta. I know sometimes people are like, dude, you're too uptight or whatever. Like, oh, yeah. I mean, I have fun too. You know, I'm a fun guy. I'm a life of the party type of guy too. But yeah, I'm also structured, so it's
And
not
if you
like.
don't know, Frank actually is a singer. He sings. He also goes by Tenor Soul.
Oh man, that's so.
How about, can you sing a little something? Look at Javi and sing.
Oh yeah, well at the party yesterday, at the twins party, they were playing this. They were playing some hits.
Okay, well, why don't you sing
I was
something?
like some 112.
Okay, sing it.
Oh, I need to know where we stand. Do we share this special thing called love? I know I do. What about you? I just can't. I need you in my life. Where do I go? What do I do? 'Cause I can't live without your love. Thinking of you makes me feel like I'm the only one for you.
That's what's up, Frank. Dang. I didn't know you were going to sing the whole
112.
verse.
Oh, my bad. I mean, I heard it yesterday. I was like
job,
popping
Frank.
off. Yeah.
So yeah,
Very
so
nice.
if you want someone to sing at your wedding and bring cookies, hit
Oh
up
yeah,
Frank
I
Cookies.
cater for weddings too.
Yeah.
I mean, Jasmine's wedding's coming up, and that I'm doing order for. So
So my last question I want to ask Javi is, what is your favorite and your least favorite part of being a stay-at-home dad?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I think the favorite is easy. I really just I couldn't put into words how much I've enjoyed seeing Nico grow from this tiny little thing, newborn, into the little man that he is today. You know, it's been such an epic journey just to watch him grow and know that I had something to do with it. You know, he's being half me, and yeah, that's absolutely been my favorite. I can't really think of anything that I dislike. I really can't pinpoint something that I dislike. But I would just say that I guess also kind of on the same side, watching him grow, knowing that he won't be like that little 5-year-old that I enjoyed so much is probably like not a dislike, but kind of sad in a way. But yeah, I think that's definitely been my favorite part. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
You gotta wait for grandkids now.
Oh yeah. It's funny talking about that with Nestle, and it's funny because we're both on the same page. Like, we almost can't wait, you know? It's like, I know he's got his life ahead of him and he needs to go to school and everything, but it's like,
hey, if something were to happen.
Right, I wouldn't be mad. But yeah.
Did I ask you the same question, Frank? Did I ask you already?
Yeah, I think it was early on. Yeah.
Right, so, do you want me to ask you more questions? Okay. And so thank you,
Cool.
Javi, and thank you, Frank, for
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
coming
thank you
on
for
to
having
We
us.
Time Convo. It was really fun, and
Yeah.
thanks for singing, Frank. That was really awkward.
You know.
It was,
Oh, was it? My bad.
I didn't know where to look. I was like, should I be looking at
I
Frank
mean,
or?
Yeah, I you know,
Singing to
I
Javi,
got,
or is
I
he
got.
singing
Thanks for explaining my talents.
All right. Well, thank you, and thanks for listening, and thanks, Frank, and thanks, Javi.
You're
All right,
welcome.
thank you.